in the office researching the 3 highest crime areas.
Speaking of cops.
Speaking of crime, the mixture of like professionals and chronics.
Oh God.
And I would never leave anything important on the beach.
There's actual pimps. So today we looked up the 3 highest crime areas this side of Hawaii, the east half of the island. And airport is one of them. Airport, like, what is airport? That's a little confusing to us. Are they talking Karihi? Because, you know, Karihi, you can find the smoke if you want it, you know? Are they talking Mapunapuna because it's an industrial area? Are they talking Salt Lake? I don't think so. But up from Salt Lake, Moanalua, Mapunapuna, before you get to Karihi, on the most Makai side of that, which is what I would consider the airport, there's not much housing. If there's any housing, it's this military housing over here. And so are they saying that the military housing is in the most crime-ridden area, or one of the top 3 on this side of the island? What do you think of when you think of airport? I think of the airport post office, the main one, car dealership, industrial type stuff. You think of the actual airport, lay stands. When people say Nimitz, they're talking the Nimitz in Karihi, and then it extends here underneath the H1. So that's the H1. This is Nimitz. Tell me, is houselessness and crime synonymous? I don't want to make that blanket association, but let's just keep it real. Facts are facts. There are multiple people sleeping underneath this shelter. I see a cot right here. I see a deep tunnel behind me. So where to find the crime? I don't know. In fact, I don't want to find it. And when I think of airport, I'm not really thinking real estate. I'm just thinking of transition. I'm gonna drive around and take you along with us and look in Mapunapuna. Mapunapuna is not a place we likely have showed you on the channel. We might have gone there once 4 years ago when we started doing this. We're gonna go Mapunapuna, maybe show you some of the airport aspects. Let you decide, is airport really one of the highest crime areas on Oahu? You know, we respect people's privacy, but you know, on a public, open sidewalk, and you kind of see the stark contrast of things here. You know, mother, very likely military mother, pushing her child and in their stroller. And then, you know, uncle here. I hope he finds, you know, grace and all of the good stuff in life. Obviously not living, I'll just call it, you know, obviously homeless. Holding a bottle of Patron. Look like hasn't had shoes in years. Hasn't had shower in years. Drink, you know, bottle of Patron in the morning. It's 10 a.m. So that's the thing I would see in California, right? You see this person, you know, doing meth on the sidewalk, but also this professional walking down the sidewalk past them, and this coexisting of things. Oahu specifically is city enough that you will see that. Deep in the country anywhere, you know, you go way outer parts of California. Not that there isn't drug use and normal people, but the mixture of like professionals and chronics, you know, together, you don't see that out in the sticks. There tends to be more segregation between the lifestyles than in a city. And that just shows that this is city enough that you see them on the same street at the same time. So now we're in Mapunapuna. And when I think of Mapunapuna, I think of industry, warehouses. Still not a lot of people living. There's a Home Depot here now. Teacher store, I think it's called Lakeshore Learning or something. A wholesale place to get whiteboards and highlighters and all the stuff like a teacher would need.
Fishers?
Fishers. You know, in California, it's called Lakeshore Learning. It's Fishers. A little graffiti right there. The other thing that I think of is Surfco, Toyota, and Subaru. And you're near Fort Shafter. You're near Moanalua, but when we're talking about crime and being labeled as airport, airport is not Salt Lake, and airport is not, you know, Moanalua, Shafter, all the things sub, you know, Makai of Tripler. Total random note. My wife just bought a new Toyota. An interesting thing about Hawaii, and it speaks to sort of the supply chain and logistics, is the family who owns Surfco, they locked up the rights to Toyota, so there aren't multiple Toyota dealerships. Same with Subaru. If you want to buy a Toyota or Subaru, this is where you're going. Not necessarily going to haggle and get this special price. It's kind of sticker price, but they don't really overprice things either. So it's just kind of plain fair pricing. I found that the salespeople are a lot more desirable than some of the other places that I've dealt with. Okay, local people, chime in. Tell me not. You never used to go Mapunapuna, be in Mapunapuna. The thing you think about Mapunapuna the most is, what's the lady who used to, or she still does the traffic on the radio? And the H1, H2 merge. And this is Danielle Tucker. And the H1 is backing up to Mapunapuna. You know what I'm talking about? Is it Danielle Tucker? But she always referenced Mapunapuna. It's one of my Mapunapuna references. Local people, tell me if I'm crazy. Well, I mean, speaking of crime, I was gonna say speaking of crime, no Triple C, but speaking of crime.
What? Where you guys stay? Where are you guys?
Karihi? Yeah, we stay in Karihi.
Where in Karihi?
Past Maurukai.
Oh, down by O Triple C.
Yeah, we just passed O Triple C. Give O Triple C an honorable mention. Just FYI, that's making it to YouTube.
What? Are you guys stiff?
What? Well, you guys stay.
Oh God.
And so we're here in downtown. Did you know this is going to be on the list?
Yes, I absolutely
We've
do.
mentioned it on here before.
Yeah.
I said Hotel Street. A few videos ago on the biking video, I mentioned prostitution, trans prostitution,
I mean, this is the place for all that kind.
all that kind.
Tell me in the comments, local people, when you think Hotel Street, what does it mean to you?
Someone I know a few months ago, their friend got pushed down, shoulder broken on Hotel Street.
I mean, Chinatown's cool now. There's a lot of cool stuff in Chinatown, but I'm still not coming here by myself at night.
When they say downtown, they're talking downtown Chinatown, the collective,
this
right?
area.
This area.
Not Ala Moana, not Kaka'ako. We're talking like Chinatown, downtown. There's a lot of cool stuff here. I like coming down here, but like my earliest memories of Chinatown are like my dad having jobs, having drywall work in the building, making me stay with him, or hey, I'm gonna leave you in this car, leave the doors locked, I'll be right back. From small kid time, it's always just been like, oh, can be sketchy.
As an adult who isn't necessarily fearful in walking down the street, it's also a cool area. Probably the best foodie area. I mean, it depends what kind of foodie, right? But like my friends came from Oakland, shout out to Tim. They live in Oakland, and he was like, oh, we're real foodies, so we're going to these foodie spots. And I mentioned like some Ward restaurants, and he was like,
Ha, okay, you're basic.
yeah. He's like, no, we're looking for like the Puerto Rican, Ethiopian fusion on Hotel Street.
Yeah.
And this is where you'd find that.
All the hole-in-the-wall places. There's like cool bars down here too now. Like Lay Stand, where we just walked by there. The Lay Stand.
Podmore.
But as a woman by myself, I still would be hesitant to come. Yeah, I've gone to restaurants with Brandy here by ourselves.
Oh yeah, shout out to Brandy.
But even then, I'm like, oh, I want to park on this street. I don't want to walk I don't want to walk 3 blocks by myself at night. You know.
Yes.
So
I've done the underwriting. If you want to kind of spend your time around Whole Foods and Ward, Kaka'ako, but it doesn't matter to you where you go upstairs to and sleep, if the difference in price for 800 square foot here versus there, we're say 400,000. 400,000 at a regular interest rate. A regular interest rate of like 4.75, which that is not what rates are today. VA's around 6.2, conventional higher. If $500 to $600 a month for every 100,000 you're borrowing, we're talking $2,000 to $2,500 a month to live in the same square footage. That way,
less square footage.
Less square footage.
Yeah.
So you're talking 2, 3, 4,000 a month to live in the more bougie downtown area or town area in a condo. Whereas you can go to like Century Park Plaza, Honolulu Park Place, and Uber, just Uber, frivolously, and still be net positive for having lived here. Now, there's investment opportunity, development, opportunity costs. There's a lot that goes into that, but I'm just saying, you get a lot of bang for your buck and live in a really cool place. Around here. More
of the people in this area, they live here. The people who live more on the expensive side, it's a lot of second homes, empty homes,
That's a good
empty
point.
Second homes. I think over here it's a more of a lived-in community. And we have people who are like in the business district or the finance district, working at Straub, or students at HPU. Like, this is a more lived-in community than that way. You're paying the premium because you're in sort of a resort area. It's residential, but it gives resort in that the amenities that are there, the privacy. It's a little bit more cleaned up. So it's just different things. Both town, both walkable, just different products.
If you're coming from New York, San Francisco, this is like, we
were just talking about that the other day. It's
this is nothing.
It's not the city. It's our city, but it's not.
For us, a lot of crime.
Yeah.
So like someone from the Bronx or Brook, I don't even know about those places. This is nothing.
It's weird how during the daytime it feels like nice and safe and fine. I'm not worried about anything. It's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Tourist vibes in the day.
Yeah.
But on some of these side streets in the night, there's actual pimps wearing.
I know.
Because a guy I went to high school with became a pimp, and he became an actual pimp. He'd be in here with like fur coats, like green fur coat and a pink Cadillac.
So we're on Kuhio, which is parallel to Kalakaua. Why is Kuhio more dangerous than Kalakaua? Why is this
Were you asking it rhetorically, or were you genuinely interested?
I was genuinely, your opinion, because I have thoughts on that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are on the corner of Kuhio and Lures, and when I'm thinking crime, where you can FO, find some problems in Waikiki. Local people, tell me not. Back in the day when we were younger, the Cellar was a bar. I just feel like Lures is a place where you could get it. Kuhio specifically, because like other tourist destinations, I'm sure there's something like this in a Manhattan. I've seen this in Puerto Rico when I went there. I've seen it in San Francisco. On the main street, the tourism economy is based on Kalakaua Avenue.
Yeah.
All of the famous hotels and all that. On that street, you gotta keep it clean.
Yeah.
But there's only so much time and so many resources for the authorities, for police. And so Kuhio, there's no ocean in sight. It's a little darker. It's the energy's different just one street over. TLDR, they kind of keep the prostitutes off of Kalakaua.
I mean, do they?
Well, I know. I went there recently. I don't know if it's because of holidays, but I didn't really see working women in that way. But when I was younger, I would see that a lot more in Kalakaua. But
it's always been
Kuhio
more
was the
this way.
place where like different economic factors over here.
Speaking of cops. But at the same time though, yeah, definitely Kalakaua needs to be kept more clean. That's where the police are. That's where their little substation is by Duke's statue over there.
Yeah.
But also like when people are talking about Waikiki and staying in Waikiki or buying in Waikiki or living in Waikiki, they're like, oh, I'd rather not be closer to Kalakaua. Like I want to be on Kuhio and further towards Alawai.
A lot of times it's Alawai, right?
Yeah.
Like you're on the block that is Kuhio to Alawai. You know, what you could buy for 500 grand there, you might pay literally 4 million on the 4 or 5 million on the ocean.
Yeah.
So why do it?
You may have street performers out till 2 a.m. on Kalakaua.
Yep.
But over here, they're quietly doing unsavory things sometimes.
Unsavory. Yeah.
Unsavory things.
Kuhio is more that, right? Or
Yeah,
no?
it's darker. And if I'm in Waikiki with my family, which I am sometimes for staycations, we are not walking over here at night.
So say your kid was like, Mom, I'm in Waikiki and I gotta walk here. You would say,
Go on Kalakaua.
get to Kalakaua and
Yes.
walk, right?
Go to Kalakaua and walk.
You don't want to walk Alawai nor Kuhio, right?
No.
I'll smell buds right now.
I feel like it'd be easy to acquire. If I'm on vacation in Waikiki and we don't have dispensaries over here like other places do, I feel like I could come Kuhio and solve that problem.
I know someone who was beaten up and raped. I think on Kuhio. Fights, violent crimes, drugs.
I mean, if I'm looking for someplace to snatch a purse, I'm coming to Waikiki. The level of density and the amount of tourists that are here, people who are passing through.
When I come to Waikiki, whether it be my wife or my own fanny pack or whatever, you get a hand on it. If my wife happened to have a purse, I might even carry it.
When we walk it around, I'm not bringing that with me. Tap to pay on your phone, leave your purse.
Well, in fact, when I leave my suburb to go to Waikiki, I'm not bringing the purse from there because I also don't want it in the vehicle, depending where I park, right?
Yeah, even the beach. There are some beaches you go to, you find leaving your bag, your backpack. I'm like, if I go Kailua, I don't care. I'm gonna leave. If I go Wailua, if I go Haliva, I can watch my backpack from right here and be fine. But there's so much people here that I would never leave anything important on the beach.
That's true. Never. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the cool parts about living here. My dad was a Waikiki beach boy. He grew up a townie, walking from the mountains to the ocean to go work, take care of tourists, surf. I see it as this like golden, beautiful era type place.
Yeah.
And then I become an adult, come back to Hawaii, do real estate. And people want to buy a Waikiki, and at first I'm like, oh, interesting. But then I realized why. Like, you don't want to buy a car. Tons of places to eat,
Shopping, eating, people watching.
shows to see.
Shows. Oana, the new Cirque show.
Say you're like, oh, I'm living in Waikiki. My boyfriend splits his time between Japan and California, whatever. All of the layovers, like shuttle to Waikiki, no need car. We live here, right? Like it's really convenient.
And yeah, people live here, and some of like the best surfers in the world, like these kids growing up in Waikiki.
Connie Tsunami.
Yes, all these kids. They they're Waikiki rats. They just grew up here.
Waikiki rats.
Yeah, but they used to call them wall rats.
Wall rats. Wall rats is not a derogatory
No,
term.
my mom was a wall rat.
It's a badge of honor. My dad was a wall rat. Yeah, my
Right over
cousin
here.
was a wall rat.